Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we'll explore how to integrate Siri with your Flutter app for iPhone. So recently I've been working on integrating Siri with this app, Live Darbar, which is currently available on the App Store and Play Store. And after a few days of experimenting and coding, I have successfully implemented Siri voice commands to trigger app actions directly from Siri. And also the Siri enabled version is available for everyone to download from App Store. Yesterday I got email from Apple that my new version is approved and live. So we'll start with a quick demo. This app, Live Darbar, is a live audio streaming app from the Golden Temple. It features 3 audio channels, and in this demo I'll show you how I have integrated Siri commands to play these channels one by one. So here's the first command. Hey Siri, start Katha on Live Darbar.
Satnam Siri
Hey Siri, start Kirtan on Live Darbar.
Tanrupan Tritman.
Hey Siri, start Mukhwak on Live Darbar.
Satnam.
Hey Siri. So as you can see, Siri commands make it easy to control the app using just voice. So in this video we'll learn how to integrate Siri functionality into a Flutter app. I'll start from scratch and build a simple app, and then we will create a basic Siri command that simply prints to the console. Once that's working, I think I'll try to increase the counter with Siri command, decrease the counter or reset the counter. With this foundational knowledge, you all be able to expose your app's functionality to Siri, allowing users to control almost anything in your Flutter app using just voice commands. Think of it like asking Siri what's the weather today or play this video on YouTube. With the same ease, we all able to extend similar functionality in Flutter app. So let's dive in. Alright, so let's talk a bit about how we can start building Siri functionality in a Flutter app. So when I first started working on my app, I realized that Siri's capability are part of like iOS native APIs. So we need to interact with Swift on native side to make this happen. Initially, I watched a few videos, including I think a Flutter conference video by Elaine. This is the video in which she talks about building voice first Flutter apps. That's a really very deep foundational knowledge. But after watching this video and she shows some demos of a couple of apps, she also shows like Google Assistant. But for Siri, after seeing demos, I got confident that I can build this on my own. So I started reading Apple's documentation and started coding the functionality myself using a native Swift. I have very less experience in native Swift, so but after writing about 20% of the code, I came across fantastic package on pub.dev called this intelligence package. This package is an absolute game changer because it simplifies the process of integrating Siri with Flutter by handling most of the heavy lifting. Shout out to the team at Montreal, I think, and it has made implementing this functionality much easier. However, there's an important point to note. Even though the intelligence package handles a majority of the work, we'll still need to write some native code, but it is very less. So specifically, we'll define app intents and app shortcuts directly in Swift. So let me quickly explain the difference between app intents and app shortcuts, as this is a key to understanding Siri integration. In simpler terms, app intents define what your app can do, while app shortcuts make those intents or actions available to user with the voice command or tap. This will become super easy to understand while implementing. But in this video we'll follow the intelligence package documentation. I think their documentation is more than enough for starting out, and by the end you will have a clear understanding of how to integrate Siri functionality into your own app. So let's get started by first creating a Flutter app from scratch. So our first step is to create Flutter app from scratch. A couple of points to note here: I'm always assigning the bundle ID here, so it's not a good practice to use com.example. Always give unique bundle ID here, like I try to give this. You can give any bundle ID of your choice, and this is the name of app, Flutter project red sky. You can call it anything, but I'm trying to give it a unique name so that Siri can easily identify the app name. So when we press enter, it should create a project. So it has created the project, and we will open the project in this terminal. So as you can see, the Flutter project is open, and first of all what we'll try to do is run the Flutter project. So run, and then once the project is run successfully for the first time, then we will add the package and the functionality. We'll follow the documentation of the package. I think the documentation is more than enough to understand the things, and then we can add specific functionality according to our own use case. As you can see, Xcode build is done in 27 seconds, and the app is loading. And on the simulator you can see this is a basic normal counter app given by Flutter Create command. This is all like Flutter template, default template, and it has this functionality where you can just increase the counter. I'm sure you all know this. So first of all what we'll do is we will add a function to reset the counter, and then we will also add a function to decrease the counter, and then we will expose those through the package, and then we will try to control the app, increase the counter, reset the counter using our Siri. So first of all let's remove all the comments. Command F. We will use regex to remove all the comments. So and replace all. Command S. Once this is done, then we'll I will write a function called void reset counter, and then we'll reset the counter and set state. So I'm assuming you all know what set state is and what stateful widget is, because these are the basics of Flutter, and I'm not going to explain basics here. I'm just assuming that you have this prior knowledge. So reset counter function and another function called decrement, or I think decreasing will be your take home task, like a homework, so that you can practice if you want to practice, or you can just follow along. So this is the reset counter function, and I think we should also add a button. It has nothing to do with a Siri command, but just in case if we want to reset the counter on our own, so we'll do it here. So I will just add an icon button in the app bar just to reset the counter. And the co-pilot is helping us. So what is this? Icon button takes two parameters. On pressed, we are passing this function reset counter to here, and then icon is refresh. So as you can see here, we can just reset the counter here, and Flutter hot reload just doesn't need to rebuild the whole app again. So as you can see, this is just normal functionality, and we are just controlling the app with the buttons. But in the next step, we'll control the app with Siri. So now the next part is to add the package to our Flutter app. So let's go to the documentation. So this is the documentation, and we'll just first add the package to our Flutter app. So just copy paste this one, and again go to the VS Code, Command Shift P. So dart add dependency, just write the package name intelligence, and once it's done, we'll just see in pubspec dot. So the intelligence package is already added. So a couple of things to mention here. First of all, the default the minimum iOS version should be 16, so we need to change the version to 16. So what I'll do is I'll just and also a second thing, whenever we add any package which exposes the native functionality or which uses the native APIs, like in Android Kotlin side or Swift on the iOS side, we should rebuild the project from scratch by stopping the project and rerun the project. But before that, I'll just change the iOS version to 16. So what we'll do is right click on iOS folder and open in Xcode. So as you can see, the app is the project is open in Xcode, and first of all we go to this file, select a runner, and where this is general, just change the iOS version. Here it's 12, just change to 16. It's 16.6. I generally do is 16.0. Once it's done, you can minimize this window and rerun the project from scratch. Go to main.dart and run again, and we'll open the debug console just to make sure if there's any error. So this is the first thing I always like to do before. Okay, no worries. The build is done after changing, and as you can see, the simulator is working fine even after we have added the package. So but we haven't added any functionality, but whenever I add a package which uses native functionalities, I always try to build the project from scratch just to make sure if it's not crashing the app. So yeah, it's working normal. So now we will follow the documentation in the next steps. So this is the package file. So it says we should listen to the stream of strings. So what I'll do is just copy paste this code and go to our VS Code again. So whenever this widget is initialized in its state, we should listen to the any changes. So I will add another function called void init Siri. It doesn't take any parameters, and I will just paste this thing here, and it's causing error because we haven't imported. So now this is imported. So it also need an argument, so we'll define another function called void handle Siri. So it will take arguments. So this selection stream method of intelligence package returns stream of strings, and then listen will return just single string whenever a string is yielded. So string selection, Copilot helping us. Okay, so and first we will just print or log. I like to use log because, and then we'll just pass this function here, handle Siri, and we also need to listen to this stream in its state. So I could have done directly this like here, but I always like to keep my init state clean. so that's why I'm passing this function and then handling everything here for initializing Siri, like this package. And another thing, you can see that I'm directly using this. I'm not creating instance or object for this class, because they have mentioned there in the documentation this app, this thing act as singleton, so we don't need to initialize, or but we can, but it's up to us. So that's why I'm just directly using it. And yeah, so this is the Flutter side. So this is the only thing we need to do. And once this listen function emits a string, and then we will just log the string here. And now the most important part is the Swift native side. So we will follow the documentation. So as you can see, there is a recipe. This is the recipe. So automate via shortcuts flow. So this is the first step. So today we will just use this recipe. This is advanced topic, and maybe I'll try to make the video on this one, but majority of our app can be just used with this one. This one is more generic and more like parameters and etc. I will talk about this in maybe in another video, but let's read the details. So first step is open the iOS project in Xcode and add a new Swift file and paste. So I'll just copy paste this one, and then I will explain what's inside the file in the Xcode. Okay, so my Xcode, and we need to copy paste. So you can see there is a runner inside a runner folder. Right click and you can also create a new empty file and then paste there, or there's another option, new open heart intent.swift from clipboard. So this is the file. So what this file does is it import app intents framework from native Swift and this intelligence package, and then this is a struct which is of type app intent, or maybe extending app intent. I'm not sure what's the Swift basics, but yeah, so this is of type app intent. If you want to see what app intent is, just command click on this one, and this is the inbuilt. So as you can see, app intent is available for iOS 16. That's why we set the minimum iOS version to 16. Okay, anyways, so back to the open heart intents. And so first of all, we need to give the title. So what's the title we're gonna give? Increase counter. And this bool true means whenever app this intent is triggered, we should open the app. So we have mentioned it to true, and this is the main function. I think it is returning this result, but first of all it is pushing this string to Flutter side. So all the functionality of how it's done is handling by this package. I mean, we can also see the implementation here. Let's see. So it's a Flutter plugin, and it's registering a method channel intelligence. Okay, so under the hood they are using Flutter method channel, and maybe I'll try to make another video of explaining how they are handling the intelligence package behind the scenes, but this is not the video. So we'll just trust these guys and use their package intelligence plugin. And for this intent, I want to emit a string called increment, and that's it for our first intent. And this is done. Once it's done, we should, again, what I told you guys, whenever we change anything on the native side on iOS or Android, we should rebuild the project from scratch. So I'll just stop the project. I will just stop the project, and rerun the project from scratch. And we should open the debug console just in case. And as you can see, the Xcode build is done, and nothing has changed. We can still use the Flutter functionality, but what we can do is we can go to the Shortcuts app and is click on add action apps, and you should see if you have correctly implemented, if you have correctly followed the steps in the documentation. You should see your app name here, as I can see red sky, and as you can see this function is now in the shortcuts. Now the iOS shortcuts or iOS app intents can read this function, and if we tap on this shortcut, as you can see, this increment is log statement is, we are not doing anything in the app side, but we are writing logging to the print statement, so we should change that. So we should also log it, and we should also use a switch statement, and again Copilot helping us. So switch on this selection, if the case is reset, we should trigger this function, and if the case is increment, we should call increment counter function. So increment counter function, let's again see the implementation. So okay, it will just increase the counter by 1, and reset will just reset it to 0. So now we haven't changed anything on the native side, so we don't need to worry about this thing. Even Flutter hot reload will do the thing, or if you still want to make sure, just restart the project. We don't need to rebuild, just restart the project. So what is the difference between rebuild and restart? Rebuilding is stopping the app and again creating from scratch, I mean starting from scratch, but restart it just restarting. So app is restarted, you can check the functionality is still working. Now I will just go to the shortcuts, and I will just increase the counter, and as you can see the counter has increased to 5. If you still want to see, I have reset the counter to 0. Again go to shortcuts, and as you can see the counter has increased to 1, and our log statements are working. So this was the first step. Now the second and main part is how to call this function using our voice commands. So we'll do that. So the next part is to add voice functionality. We have already done the shortcuts functionality, but now we should say a phrase, and then Siri will trigger the function. So we will follow the documentation. So this is the documentation, and the second part is add a Siri voice shortcut for the app intent. So like I said, there are two things. One is app intent and one is app shortcuts. So app intent is any functionality you want to expose your app. Either it can be used with the home screen widgets, lock screen widgets, or any other app like shortcuts app on iOS. But the app shortcuts, as you can see here, you can add a phrase, and then you need to just say the phrase, and then it will trigger the intent here. So what we'll do is we'll just copy paste this one, and we'll go to our Xcode. So one thing I want to mention here is whenever changing anything on the native side on iOS, try to do it in Xcode, because when I was developing my app, I was changing on VS Code, and the changes were not reflecting on Xcode. Then the easier task would be just to do on Xcode. So we'll just go to the Xcode directly and do this thing. So this is Xcode, and as you can see my Xcode is working. Again on the runner side, create new open heart shortcuts.swift, and it will just copy paste the thing here, and we should change the intent name here and there also. So first I will change the intent name to increment intent, and I should also change the name here also. And intent, this is the intent in the previous step, and now the shortcuts thing. So we also need to import app intents for this app shortcuts definition, because these are defined in app intents iOS native side. So we should also change the name to all app shortcuts. So why I'm giving all app shortcuts, because there is this thing in iOS that you are only allowed to have a single instance of app shortcuts provider for the whole project. So what we can do is, currently we are passing just one app shortcut, but if we have multiple app intents, we can pass it as a list. So we will also see in the next step, but currently we are just working with one. So just change this to increment intent, and we should say the phrase here, increase counter. So in that will be our phrase. We can also give multiple phrases, as this is a list, but currently we'll give just one phrase, and in the next steps we'll try to give like at least 2-3 phrases to try different strategies. So again, and we should also change the app name to all app shortcuts. So all app shortcuts. And now we have changed again on the native side. We should rebuild the project. So I will rebuild the project from scratch again. So stop the run and again rerun the project, and we should open the debug console to see if there's any error. And now we will be able to use Siri command to just trigger the increase the counter. So let's see. I will just open all app shortcuts to see what phrase I have given. I always forget the phrase. As you can see, Xcode build is done, and so there's no error, and the Red Sky app is working fine again. But this time we don't need to add the shortcut in the shortcuts app. We just, so as you can see, I will just reset the counter here, and I will also like make the app in the background, trigger Siri. So how you can trigger Siri on iOS simulator, just long press on this side, the power button, and Siri will be triggered. Increase counter in Red Sky, and as you can see, it has increased to 1. So we'll try again. Increase counter in Red Sky, and it has increased to 2. So like I said, these are the building blocks, and currently we are just passing this function. We can for any string or id, we can pass any function. Now we'll add intent for reset counter in the next step, and also we'll add multiple phrases, and then for decrement counter, I think that would be your take home task. And then at last, I will also try to show the implementation of my own app, how I am handling the intents. And if you are interested, you can watch till the end, but if not, try to watch the next step to have a clear understanding again. But if you already know, you can just stop watching this video and start building something useful. In this step, I think we'll just try to add the recent functionality on the native side. So again, open the Xcode. So this is like a second time I'm going through the steps again. And so I was talking about this, sorry, my Xcode window was minimized. So yeah, so I was talking, we will also see how we can add multiple app shortcuts to single app shortcuts provider, because only one instance is allowed per project. How we can pass the list here if we have multiple intents and multiple app shortcuts. So first of all, what I will do, I will just copy this increment intent, right click on this new increment shift from keyboard. I'll just change the name to reset intent, and I will give reset counter, and I will also give reset here. Everything else is same, and I will also give it here just to not confuse myself in future. So, and I will also change the app name, reset intent. So this was just the reset intent. See how less code you have to write, because everything else is handled by IntelliGence plugin. We just need to change the string, the name of intent, and the title name. That's it. And this was for the intent side. Now the shortcut side, open the app shortcuts file, change it to return a list, and Control X and Control V. So this was the first four. So we are now returning a list, and now we are adding another app shortcut. What is the app intent we want to give? Reset intent with braces, and the phrase we want to give, we should give a better formatting. I'm getting confused here. Yeah. So what phrase we should give? Reset counter in app name. Yeah. And like I said, we can also give multiple phrases. We will give, and we will also test these multiple phrases. Add I have cooled, so, and yeah, so we can also add multiple phrases for this one, and we can also add another one. So like I said, the take home task, when you are implementing decrement counter, you need to just add the same thing for decrement counter and the phrase for decrement counter. I'm not sure if we give the same phrase, how it will handle the intent. Like if I have given the same phrase here and same phrase here, but anyone can experiment these type of things. But let's see. So that's it, and we have already added a functionality for the on the Flutter side by just defining this. Nothing to do it here, and we are using if the case is reset, then just change to here. I mean, in future versions of this IntelliGence plugin, they may change this from string to enum or ID or anything, because strings can cause a lot of trouble. Like just a typo can break your whole functionality. So maybe I'll try to contribute in the package, or maybe let's see what happens if someone else contributes. But anyways, so like I said, we have changed in the native side. We need to stop the build and again run the project. Now we will also try uh, three different phrases for increment counter and one phrase for reset counter. So as you can see, the Xcode build is done in 22 seconds, and app is opening. Another thing I forgot to mention, you need a Mac for implementing for iOS, because Flutter uses Xcode for iOS to compile the code and run the code. So as you can see, the app is running on simulator, and now this functionality is independent from the Siri, but we are not here for this functionality. We are here for Siri functionality. I'll just minimize, or you also no need to minimize. I'm just minimizing to show it also works on background. So just side increment counter in red sky. Okay, it doesn't understand. So let me try again. Just opening the phrases here. Sometimes I forgot myself. So increase counter in red sky. So it has increased to 1. Or maybe we will try this in foreground mode, not background mode. Add counter in red sky. Yeah, so it has added to 2, as you can see. And now the last one we will try again as a background. Increment counter in red sky, and it has incremented to 3. So as you can see, 3 phrases. You can add multiple phrases if there are similar sounding words. For example, in my case, there were similar sounding words because those words were not exactly in English language, they were in Punjabi language. I'm writing them in English, so I have added like 20, at least 15 to 20 phrases, so that Siri wouldn't get confused if from different accents people speak. But if you are using just English words, so you may not need to add, but maybe you can add a bunch of possible phrases a user can say, like increase counter, add counter, increment counter. A user can say anything, so you need to try to add as much as possible. So now we will test the reset counter. So as you can see, there are the counter is set to 3. We haven't tested the reset yet, so let's test the reset again. Reset counter in red sky. Okay, it is having hard time to understand my phrase. Reset counter in red sky. Okay, so as you can see, it has resetted the counter to 0, and we can add a decrement counter which will decrease the counter by 1 by using same function steps. And that was it for this step. And in the next last part of the video, I'll try to show my own implementation of live Darbar, how I'm handling playing 3 different channels. It is exactly like the same, but just instead of these functions like this reset counter, I'm using play channel 1, play channel 2, play channel 3. Majority of the thing is same. So if you still want to see the part, you are more than welcome to. But if you already if you have understood this part, you can try to build something on your own. At least try to make uh, decrement functionality, just to have a clearer understanding. So see you next part. So in this last part, I'll just try to show my implementation of my app. So this is my app, live Darbar, which is open source. The code is open source, and currently it's live on Google Play Store and App Store, and even the Siri version where you can give Siri commands to play the audio. It's live. Yesterday I got the email that my update is live, and so let's see how I'm implementing in my app. So I'm first initializing the intelligence plugin, but we don't need to initialize. We can directly use intelligence dot, but why I'm initializing, just to only initialize when the target platform is iOS, because this plugin currently only supports iOS. That's why I'm initializing. If not, then it's null. You don't need to, but then again in init state I am doing unweighted init, and in this init method, if the intelligence it's not initialized, then return to 0. I mean, then it means the platform is not iOS, and I am again checking. I'm extra checks. I don't need this try and catch statement, but I'm again giving if there is a platform exception, because the plugin is not built for this platform, like Android, web, or Mac OS, or anything else. So I'm listening to this stream, and then passing the string to this handle selection function. Handle selection function is this. I'm declaring ID, first logging the string which is triggered, and then I'm passing that to this function along with ref. Why ref? Just ignore for if you are new about, if you don't know anything about river pod, dependency injection, state management, etc. Just ignore this part. Just I'm passing this string to this function, and then this function again, instead of switch I'm using if else statement. I should use switch, which is much easier, but anyways. So if the channel key, which is this ID, is this, play the channel of this, if this play for this, like this function, we don't need, I don't need, I'm not going to go in the detail, but that's how, like, you can pass any function here. Like if the string passed here is this, do this, and now on app shortcuts, native side. So this is app shortcuts. As you can see, there are 3 app shortcuts, and for the first one I have passed like too many phrases. Why? Because these are not English words in the English dictionary. So I'm passing anything which may sound like and any Punjabi person will say, and how Siri will perceive their voice. So I'm passing every possible which I can think of, like see MUK and MUKH, and sound. Just if Siri understand this, the intent still got trigger, and if Siri understand KH sound, it still get. And now again walk, every possible permutation combination which I can think of. I mean, there can be a million, but my work is app is triggering 90% of use cases just for this one. And for second app shortcut, I only defined 4. These two not even work. I mean, I have tested many times. I think we have to pass the application name. I'm not passing in the 3rd and 4th phrase, so that's why it doesn't work. And again here. So this is the app shortcuts, and let's see the intents. So intents are the simpler intent, Katha intent, and it passes this string. This second channel, this passes this string, and this passes this string. So this was my implementation, and thanks for watching. If you're still here, and if you have learned a lot, you can share this video with your teammates, and you can build something good something useful or some or not, or maybe fun just to show off. Just build something good. See you next time.